Well, it's a Saturday night, and we are here in the basement for all kinds of nerdy news. What's up, everybody? Welcome in. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're glad to be here. Got some fun stuff to talk about. Not a crap ton, but it's going to be fun. It's going to involve discussion, it's going to involve yapping. It's going to be cool. At least I think so. I think you'll think so too. So, you know how we do, unless you're new. This is how it goes. You fill your cup, and you light your smoke. You lean on back and get ready, because it's time to get nerdy. Well, hello. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the basement on this Saturday night when my mic never stays in fucking place. Anywho, what's cracking, y'all? Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good back half to your week. Tell you what, around here, it's been smoky. It has been smoky. Because Canada is evidently on fucking fire. And the winds are blowing it all over the northern United States, including here in the metropolitan Detroit area, because we're next to Ontario, and it's a lot of Western Ontario that's on fire right now. So, yeah, it's hazy and it smells like a campfire. Like, no shit. Last couple days were bad. Today wasn't too bad at all. Of course, we had a lot of wind today, which is probably dissipating it. But it still smelled like a campfire. It's still a little hazy. More so in the distance. Last couple days, it was like you had half a mile to a mile of good visibility. That was good. Old people and people with breathing issues like weren't even leaving the house because, basically they were told not to because of the air quality warnings. Yeah, it's been interesting. And evidently the winds are going to shift again and make it bad down here again. Well, down here relative to Canada. Michigan isn't really down here when it comes to the United States. But anyway. Who all is up in here so far? Lacey, Dan, Brooke, and Icarus. It says 16, and yeah, I know. Fuck off. I forgot about the back of the damn shirt, okay? Okay! What's up, Brennan? How you doing, brother? What's up with y'all? How y'all been? Are you far enough north? Well, I know Icarus is not even in the U.S., so. But yeah, is anyone else being affected by the wildfires in Canada? Well, a large amount of them are in Ontario, but that's not all. And again, it's Western Ontario, so it's like it's going down into Minnesota and Wisconsin, obviously here in Michigan. So what's up with y'all? What is crack lack a lacking? Just living? I mean, I feel that. Livin. Shit, what was his name? Wooderson. Yep, fucking Wooderson and Dazed and Confused, played by the one and only Matthew McConaughey. Keep on living, man. Livin. Yeah. I love that movie. I haven't watched it in a while. I need to watch that shit again. Movie. Dazed and Confused is such a good movie. Y'all watch The Odyssey yet? Hopefully, I'm going tomorrow because Mrs. Chillin wants to go, but she has a couple issues, and almost 3-hour movie could potentially exacerbate them. So we'll see. She has to be feeling a certain level of good to go to a movie. Period. Much less an almost 3-hour one. So we'll see. But hopefully tomorrow, I'll get to take in the newest Christopher Nolan epic, which I'm greatly looking forward to. Whenever I get it. How about you guys? You guys go see that shit yet? You guys go see that yet? Like, what is that at? Rotten Tomatoes. Last I knew, like the critic and the audience score was both at 96%. How we doing on Rotten Maters? Rotten Maters. Oh. Yeah, it's doing pretty okay. 95% critic score, 97% audience score. We haven't. It's been a hot minute since we've had these two scores close together on just about anything I've paid attention to. Like within 2% of each other and over 90% for both. Not sure how you feel about it. Why do you say that? Did you watch it? Yeah, it's killing it on the ratings, and it's looking like it's going to be killing it at the box office as well. Which, of course, is not a big surprise. What up, Sanoff? Odyssey sounds like a rock. That's what pretty much everyone who's not out there being performative says. Yes. Actually, let me specify. Yeah, outside of the ones who are being negative, performatively negative. Outside of that, everyone seems to be really, 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 really digging some of the casting. From what I understand, a lot of the casting that people have issues with, they're really not in the movie that much. From what I've seen on the interwebs from people I follow on the regular for entertainment type news and opinions and stuff, they're saying the problematic casting or problematic members of the cast really aren't even in the movie all that much. Heard it's 5 out of 5 Trojan horses. Yeah. Like honestly, the only thing that has a chance of like making it weird is like modern English. Like the whole dad thing is just weird. Like, I don't care about modern accents. I don't care about a black Helen. I don't care about Elliot Page. The only thing that looks like it's going to weird me out, and it was weird even in the trailer, was the dad shit. It was just weird. It throws me off. But I can virtually guarantee it's not going to take me out of the movie or make me go, fuck this movie, it sucks. I also know that's not going to happen. It'll just be, what's the word I'm looking for? Lightly jarring, I guess would be the best way to put it. Like, way more so than anything else. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I mean, fucking Christopher Nolan and Greek mythology. Two things I'm a big fan of. If, you'll forgive me for referring to Christopher Nolan as a fan. I could have phrased that better. Oops. Anyway, you know what? You know what I fucking mean, chat. You know what I fucking mean. Anywho. But yeah. Although I gotta say. And yeah, may as well just go right here since we're talking about it. All those performative motherfuckers I was talking about. This movie's bullshit. I'm gonna boycott it. This movie's gonna fail. No one wants this kind of stuff. Still haven't seen Oppenheimer. Me either, honestly. I need to actually fucking watch that shit. Of course, generally, when I'm in the mood for a 3-hour movie, it's gonna be like the Snyder Cut, fast forwarding through all the fucking Lois Lane bullshit. Like, honestly, I kill a half hour out of there just by skipping all that stuff. Or the Batman. That's 3 hours of movie. But I need to, again, those are action-y type movies. Oppenheimer is just 3 hours of drama. What up, Griff? Although, Morris Pew Pew gets naked in it. So, I mean, that's something in and of itself, for sure. Where was it? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's the performative motherfuckers on the internet bitching about casting, saying they're going to boycott, saying the movie's going to fail, losing their minds when Christopher Nolan in a couple different interviews basically said they're fucking idiots, and I don't give a fuck what they say. And guess what? He was right. They were wrong. This movie's going to make a fuck ton of money. Again, 95% critic score, 97% audience score. What these people need to get through their thick fucking skull is every time they think they've succeeded in destroying a project, what they haven't noticed is that every project where they've succeeded was already going to fail anyway. Example, The Acolyte. They could have, that whole crowd could have kept fucking silent, and that thing still would have failed miserably because it sucked. They didn't destroy Supergirl. Supergirl failed because it wasn't good. It was okay. It was fine. But it wasn't good. So it was never going to do well. Same with the Marvel. It wasn't good. It was never going to do well. The list goes on. But the movies that they were bitching about that were actually good have all done well. Barbie. Odyssey now. There are others whose names escape me at this point in time, but the simple fact is they really don't affect shit. There just happens to be some good coincidences where it looked like they accomplished something, but all they really did was latch on to something that was going to fail with or without them bitching. Of course, they'll never admit that, but I mean, Odyssey. Christopher Nolan shouldn't talk so much. He's gonna tank this movie. Nope. Wrong. So, yeah, I'm gonna do a little victory dance on their idiocy. I'm petty about those motherfuckers. That aside, I really want to see that fucking movie, and hopefully I get to go tomorrow. You're hoping to see it sometime next week? Cool. You seen the Odyssey yet, Griff? Looking like not many of you have seen it. Wow. That's funny. My current bit rate is almost double the recommended bit rate according to YouTube. And you know what's fun? Even if I wanted to, I have no idea how to lower it. Does the stream look weird? Does it sound weird? Is the excessive bit rate making it goofy in any way, shape, or form, chat? Let me know. I mean, you know, I am as most of you are aware, I'm not a Luddite. I like technology. I'm just not good at it. So, yeah. But like, it just seems like a higher bit rate, even than recommended, would be a good thing. But maybe not. Maybe it'd make me look like I'm on speed. You know, shit like that. You know what I mean? Like you're watching it at 1.5 speed on YouTube. And you click 1.5. Maybe you sound like this. Like I'm talking way too fast, even though I'm really not. It's just coming across this way. Maybe is it like that? Is that what a higher bit rate does? I got no fucking idea. But like I said, even if I wanted to adjust it, I'm not quite sure. I mean, I could fuck around with Streamlabs on the fly, but I don't want to do that either because knowing me, I'd just completely kill the goddamn stream. Excuse me. Yeah. Long enough. Let's see if I can get a winning roll with it. What will Streamlabs do on this one? A 1. Fucking 1. Annoying. Alrighty. Wow, that Spider-Man trailer has not been DMCA'd yet. The one I posted in Discord earlier this week, or a couple days ago, I guess, has not been DMCA'd yet. That's crazy. I'm still not showing it on stream though. That would be fucking stream too. Yeah, well. I mean, that's cool, but I'm still not showing it on stream. That means I can watch it a couple more times. Right? I think we're actually supposed to get, if that's the one, I think we're supposed to get one final Spider-Man trailer this upcoming week. I think I saw that. So, that'll be cool to see it recorded on someone's phone. That's great. Excuse me, I was wiping my lenses. Oh, by the way, just complete non sequitur, just complete tangent. Oh, of course. I warmed up the dice for you, Spicy Dan. You're welcome. I have an eye appointment next week, and I think I'm going to go back to contacts for a majority. What up, Harris? Appreciate you popping in, man. Excellent choice of gambling amount. Hey, quick question for you. What are y'all talking about tomorrow? There's a chance I'm going to be going to see the Odyssey, but if not, I might want to come hang out for a minute. Oh shit, I need to go back and watch fucking last night's Cryptid. See how that went. Did that go pretty okay? You guys did the whole Sam Neill thing? Speaking of which, R.I.P. Sam Neill. That dude was awesome. And obviously most famous for old Jurassic Park. But he's been in a ton of shit. Yeah, we can talk about him for a minute. Like, y'all ever seen The Tudors? Showtime back in when was it? Early 2010s, I feel like, is when that was out. I think it was 3 or 4 seasons. 4 seasons? 4 or 5? Anyway, he wasn't in the whole thing, but he was one of the main characters in the first season or 2, maybe even 3. Playing a dude named Cardinal Wolsey. He was magnificent. And of course, his character on Peaky Blinders. Y'all ever watch that show? If not, you should watch that. His character in season 1 of Peaky Blinders. That dude was awesome. Like, his filmography is a lot more extensive than, you would think or have realized, I should say. I'm not going to go over the whole fucking thing right now, but yeah, dude did a lot of stuff, and it was all awesome. Well, my game's all the way up, so I need to turn my bass down. Okay. How about that? That better? I turned it down by like a third. Let me know how that. Yeah, R.I.P. to one of the greats. He'll probably never get all the credit he deserves, but we're gonna miss you, Sam Neill. We're gonna miss you. And it's gonna start happening more and more often. I mean, every generation goes through it. Now it's my turn. Gen X's turn. All our favorite people are getting old. man. Sucks. All right. Let's scroll over here. Got- Way more Spider-Man shit than I realized. Okay, cool. What if it was Doctor Strange who messed up timelines when he made multiple variants of himself during the battle with Dormammu? That's interesting. The only question, the only minor, I guess, for lack of a better term, pushback I have on that is the Dark Dimension isn't really a universe in terms of like what the 616 and 828 and 838 are. It's a dimension outside of normal space time, like the quantum realm is, and they haven't incorporated it, but like the Beyondverse is. So I don't think so, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, I don't think the Dark Dimension is part of the regular physical universe, as it were. More like the quantum realm outside it. And I think. Excuse me. Or like Mephisto's version of hell. Also. All right. That's funny. Sorry. You'll Adam Driver is Mr. Sinister. Mr. Sinister seems sick, right? Oh, it does. It does. I would love it. But we'll talk about that later. All right, let's talk some Spider-Man. Because there's way more Spider-Man news than I realized I had, which is cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy about it. So let's talk about it. Well, bam, we start with this. According to Cryptic HD Quality, who is on the same tier as your My Times and your Rickmans. According to Cryptic, Brand New Day only has one post-credit scene, and it sets up Doomsday. We should not be like any kind of surprised by this and whatsoever. How much this movie was going to connect to Doomsday has been speculated on and debated on. And it seems like probably the only connection they're going to establish to Doomsday is going to be in the post-credit scene instead of the main part of the movie. which will make a lot of people happy because a a grounded, not multiversal Spider-Man movie is what the vast majority of us have been craving, right? So this is good news, and I don't mind that there's only just the one post credit either. I mean, some two can be fun, but you know, I mean, let's face it though, like post credit scenes were the bomb initially, and then once they became like an expectation and or a necessity, it kind of took some of the shine off. You know what I mean? So only one post credit, cool. Setting up Doomsday, cool, and kind of had to. It had to connect to Doomsday in some form or fashion because, well, that's the next fucking Marvel movie. You know? And also the beginning of the end of the multiverse saga. Thank God. Because let's face it, Marvel mishandled the fuck out of the multiverse saga. So, not a bad thing. They're bringing it to an end shortly. In terms of like, movie time, we get 2 more movies that we know of. You're so out of the loop on nerdy news this week. Well, Griff, I'm glad you're here because I'm about to catch that ass up. Pause. Probably could have phrased that better. Those credit scenes kind of went downhill when they made audience stick around for things down. Yes, that's a good. Yes, good call, Sanoff. That was another problem with at least the last 3 years with post credit scenes. Some of them have just been there, like they don't really have much of a point other than just being there, or they set up shit that never got back to. What up, Executive Judge? Prime example: the Shang-Chi post credit. Whatever movie the post-credit scene with the drunk troll and the other dude was. I forget that character's name, but that came to nothing. Was that Guardians 3? 2? I think it was the end of Guardians 2. No, it had to be Guardians 3, because Guardians 2 was still in the Infinity Saga. So it had to be 3. Yeah, there's been a few that have either been just nonsensical or set up something that has never been addressed. So yeah. Now there are some rumors about said post-credit scene. Which I have here somewhere. Okay. Oh, well, this is a... Alright, well, this is a... Okay, we'll do it for... Okay, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so... Here's a couple of the rumors about the post-credit scene. Thunderbolts was super refreshing in that regard, yeah. Unfortunately, James Gunn, he doesn't like post-credit scene. That sets up future events, so we won't really see them in the DCU. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a bummer, but also, if he does the setup at the very end of the main movie, that'll be fine. I believe D&D is coming out in 2 weeks. I know, I'm so happy. But in 1 week, Hall H, baby! I have pseudo plans for next Saturday. Like, I want to go early. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about these, the Spider-Man post-credit scene rumors. Alright, so, the rumor, at least from this person. Number 1, Spider-Man is no longer in New York. He's not even on Earth. Number 2, Spider-Man is in Universe 828, Fantastic Four's universe. Interesting. So we have a slightly different version from someone I've actually fucking heard of. And this is from Alex Perez, who's not only someone that we've heard of, but someone we know to be top tier. A little bit different what he said. Because I guess I can talk about it since it's all out in the open, as per the tweet we just looked at. Spoilers ahead. Now, according to Alex, we don't know where he went. It shows he's in space, but the distance is so massive that he could be in another universe. I can tell you he's not on the F4 ship. So, the last one says we do know where he went. He went to the Fantastic Four universe. Alex talks about it showing him in space, but the distance is so massive it could be another universe, which pseudo supports what the other person says. Then he says, I can tell you he's not on the F4 ship. Which kind of, like, says he's not in the Fantastic Four universe, because how's he going to get there without their ship? At least at the beginning of Doomsday, there's no fucking way. So, the only really thing in common between those two is, yeah, he's not on Earth. I think we can safely say that. But with these competing rumors, I guess, not sure where he's at or how he's getting there. But he ain't going to be around here no more. So, they're saying this is setting up Doomsday, but with all the reports out there that he's not in Doomsday or is in there about this much, it feels more like this post-credit is setting up Secret Wars. But, we'll see. Because all the reports are that Tom Holland's going to have a big role in Secret Wars. And either none or next to none in Doomsday. So maybe this post-credit scene will be addressed in Doomsday. But I still feel like, based on all the reports, it's going to be more about Secret Wars. But we'll see. We shall see. So yeah, I guess, once you put those two together, he's definitely not going to be on Earth in that post-credit scene. Or he will be in the process of leaving Earth, and we'll see him on the journey in general. But where to, can't be too sure. Where he's going, don't know. Is it to another universe? Maybe. Probably. Honestly, at this point, I don't know what the fuck else he'd go into space for. Except to travel to another universe. So, we shall see in a couple weeks, yo. Makes me wonder if Fantastic Four universe is where our heroes now live in the next phases. Well, if that Secret Wars leak that we went over, 2-3 weeks ago at this point, is accurate about the ending, then no. The 616 will still be a thing, 828 will still be a thing, 10005 will still be a thing. Basically, the multiverse as we currently know it, will still exist. So basically, we're all hoping that if that's true, then they just do a much better job of handling it. And maybe don't fuck around with multiverse shit, except in, events. Motherfucker. Either almost out of fluid or almost out of juice or both. I'm leaning towards fluid lately, although it may be. I'm waiting for the crackling sound. Secret Wars may not be a battle world, but a battle of worlds. Yeah, that's been speculated. Oh, nope. It's dead. Or maybe. Fucking make the cookie sound, bitch. There we go. Hate that shit. So, yeah, that's been speculated a few times. Maybe it's not Battle World singular, but a Battle World universe. So instead of one big ass world with these various settlements on it, it'd be entire world separated by whatever, you know, not just a Hulk province, but a Hulk world. Although honestly, that would make logistics kind of hard. Like for example, if you're gonna have the Sword Corps patrolling multiple worlds, that'd be tough. But it could also be fun if they can pull it off. And if anyone can pull that shit off, it's the Russos and McFeely. How do I know this? Because they pulled off Infinity War and Endgame. God dang it. Everyone hates me today. Excuse me. So, anywho, that's the rumor about the one post-credit scene we're getting for Brand New Day. Now, we have the spoilers, potential spoilers for the movie itself. Yeah. Oh, hi, buddy. What's up? Don't look at me in that tone of voice, cat. I'll take one here. You want to say, can Daddy piss you off already by sticking your big ass in front of the camera and having you say hi to people? You always run away after I do that. That's my big point. Yeah, I love my cat. Fucking deal with it. He's a good baby. Alright, Daddy has to pay attention to cat, okay? You gonna be alright if I do that? The mirror's back normal, you motherfucker. Alright. I guess he's just gonna chill. Okay. Couple Brand New Day movie itself spoilers, rather, as opposed to post-credit scene spoilers. This first one is kind of number one, not a big surprise. We've heard about this shit to a point before. So, but it's been kicked up to Yelena appears in several scenes of Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, we've heard rumors about her being in the movie. I believe she's been confirmed just in general, like 100% is in the movie, but I'm not. Has she been fully confirmed by like Marvel or Strange? Oh no, she has not been officially confirmed. Okay. Oh, Justin Daniel Cretton confirmed it. Okay. Right, so Justin Daniel Cretton confirmed it. Oh yeah, and Feige made that one comment in Shanghai about you'll see her sooner than you think. So, yeah. And then of course there's the rumors about the need for an intimacy. Yeah, that's the word. About the need for an intimacy coordinator in Brand New Day because evidently they're going to be making it look like Yelena is Sans clothing and Tom Holland is going to be at least mostly Sans clothing. Basically, there's some nudity involved. So there's that. And according to this one, it's going to be more than just that scene. You know, imagine she's probably going to be trying to recruit Spider-Man into the new Avengers. And he'll be like, well, I'm busy with this thing over here. Or, you know, who knows how that's going to work out. But, you know, so supposedly a pseudo-nude scene and some recruitment. Maybe it'll be the same scene where she, like, tries to recruit him by being hot. Who knows? It might work for me. Come join our team. You naked? Yes, I am. I'm in. And also, can I be in? Anyway. All right. Next, alleged spoiler / rumor about Brand New Day. Bill Metzger is the main villain of Spider-Man Brand New Day. And if you do not recall who that is Tremel Tillman's character. Who's also who's running Department of Damage Control. Dio Dix. Now, according to this, he controls the hand. And with their help and the support of Damage Control, which he runs, captures Jean and her sister. Jean fights back and confronts Spider-Man after they manipulate him into believing that she is the villain. Now, we do, from the trailers, they have shown, I believe, in both the first and the second trailer, Metzger having a conversation with Spider-Man about, I can't remember if it's specifically about mutants, but at least about powered people who are a fucking problem. So that they're at least going to have a conversation about it. So it is entirely possible that he tricked Spider-Man into believing that Jean is the villain when evidently Jean's just fighting for her sister. Who the fuck are we talking about? Sarah Gray. She's recently been resurrected in the X-Men comic. She's older. Sarah was not a mutant. I believe her in the mutant. In the comics, she was murdered by mutating fanatics and absorbed by the Phalanx. Resurrected the ongoing Phoenix series. Okay, so she's not a mutant. But, you know, this is the MCU. They could change their shit. She's Jean's older sister. Right. So she led mostly a normal life, married with children, all that kind of fun shit. So not a mutant. Again, MCU could change that, but evidently Jean is, like, just basically fighting to get her fucking sister back. Alright. So, those are potential spoilers for Brand New Day. What do you guys think about that? Metzger is the one behind everything. Although, if he's the one behind everything, why the fuck are we including Tombstone? I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But, yeah. So, what do you guys think? I mean, the Metzger thing makes sense. Him controlling the hand behind the scenes kind of makes sense. It's interesting that Jean's not just fighting for herself, but, like, they're going to include her older sister in this. or at least her sister. Don't know. Again, MCU never a 1-to-1. They could leave her as the older sister. They could make her a younger sister. She's not a mutant in the comics. They could turn her into a mutant. Which would make sense considering Metzger and the Department of Damage Control's desire to control all powered people, including maybe even especially mutants, because Metzger, who in the comics is very, very, very anti-mutant. What do you guys think? Cool? Not cool? I don't give a fuck. Interesting? Not interesting? I think it's kind of interesting that they're potentially bringing in the sister. I almost feel like they're going to make adjustments to her sister's character, though. Just because it's Marvel and they do that shit. Kind of come to expect it to a certain extent at this point. I wish they didn't do it in there's things they decide to change that don't really need to be changed sometimes. God damn it, Screen. Anyway. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see how accurate that shit is. But I definitely don't hate any of it. And the whole including her sister is kind of intriguing, and it gives it adds a little more oomph to the stakes for Jean personally, she's not just fighting to get herself out of trouble. Now she's fighting to get her sister free. Maybe Jean manipulates Peter into thinking he's interacting with Yelena. Always possible. I would not discount it. I would not discount it at all. Alright. You guys got any further thoughts? We got a little DC stuff to talk about. Then we'll get into the main topic. Don't want any pew pew and Brand New Day? Pew pew? What do you mean pew pew? Are you telling me you do not find Florence Pugh attractive? Is that what you're saying, Spicy Dan? You don't find Florence Pugh attractive? I'm afraid I'm going to have to hard disagree, literally and figuratively. Which is another reason I need to go watch Oppenheimer. But she's just naked. I'll go ask you, what the fuck? I mean, to each their own, but also, alright. I'm afraid I have to disagree vehemently. She's pretty. So a couple DC things. You guys already talk a little DC, and it's not, one's a rumor. I guess technically they're both rumors, but one's kind of cool, and the other one is just an expansion on news. Let's start with the one that's kind of cool, but also should be taken with a monstrous grain of salt. Because I don't know who the hell the poster of this is, and if I remember right, their source is, but setting that aside, it's interesting. And of course, right, Sanoff? So check this shit out. Now, we've been hearing a lot about Man of Tomorrow lately. Like, the cast is getting full. You got obviously you got Superman and Lex. Maxima. Still can't believe that she's Maxima in that one. Brainiac. Jon Stewart, Green Lantern. I think the Justice Gang is going to be in it. So Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific. Brainiac. Did I already say Brainiac? The Brainiac. And instead of introducing another member of the Trinity, again, because evidently Adria Arjona is going to be Maxima and not fucking Wonder Woman, which is dumb as shit. I really hope that everyone is wrong about that thinks that's the case. But it looks, according to this rumor, they are going to be introducing another member of the Justice League. Like what we think of as traditional Justice League in Man of Tomorrow. Alexander Ludwig from Vikings is reportedly set to play Aquaman in Man of Tomorrow. So this dude is rumored, and again, you all know Sandy thinks he was hot. The fuck is wrong with you, bro? Could be playing this guy. I mean, I can see the vision. From this picture, it looks like he's going to need to put on about 15 to 20 pounds of muscle, which, you know, Hollywood, no problem. But I can see it. Again, no clue if this rumor is even remotely accurate. But if it's true, I'd be down for the casting. I don't know that giving us Aquaman and Man of Tomorrow is like that big a deal. I mean, again, he's a traditional member of the Justice League. Which, if we're not going to get more of the Trinity in this movie, he's definitely like in that next immediate tier below them, like same level as, you know, the Flash, Martian Manhunter, and them. Hold up, wasn't there kind of a rumor a little while ago that that Martian Manhunter could be a Man of Tomorrow as well? Put off fire Jim stories. I know nothing of these Jim stories. But definitely would love to be for workout. Yeah, this guy was in Vikings. So again, massive grain of salt. Don't know who the fuck the poster is. I've heard of the source, but not much. So I don't know how reliable they are. So again, if Gunn is not going to give us another member of the Trinity, giving us at least a traditional member of the Justice League of the second highest tier, is cool. On its face. Depends how he's going to handle it. So what do you guys think? You think that, if true, that would be a good casting? And also, if true, do you think it's a good idea to introduce him in Man of Tomorrow? Could be cool. Got the potential to be very cool. But obviously, A, haven't heard that from a source that I'm very familiar with or would consider to be massively reliable. And B, this is not a member of the Trinity, so it's still annoying. To me. Now on to the other one. By the way, when it comes to the casting news, I had to take notes. There's a lot. Okay. Batman Part 2. As we talked about previously, excuse me. As we heard recently, the Batman Part 2 has been delayed for the fourth fucking time. Excuse me one second. I got fucking. Okay, that was weird. What's happening? I thought I had that tight. Excuse me for just a moment. Is this thing on? Is it still working? Okay, cool. I didn't realize it was already. It has to be that way, because otherwise it won't be in a good position for me to fucking talk into it. Oh. Momo was cool, but he's definitely a miscat. Yes. Yeah, Momo was always fun to watch, but yeah, he definitely was. He was not meant to be out. I guess I'll just put it that way. That was definitely not. He was not a very comic booky Aquaman, for sure. Yeah, Lobo is definitely the character he always should have been. Can you imagine a Snyder version of Lobo? Ooh, I would fucking love that. Snyder version of Lobo. Sick. But, alas, he was Snyder's Aquaman. And he's Gunn's Lobo. Oh. Anyway. Getting back on track. Batman Part 2 delayed for a fourth time to February of 2028. That begs the question, what the fuck is going on over there? What is happening with this movie? Why does it keep getting pushed? What the hell is WB doing? Holy shit. Well, we have some potential answers, chat. Now, according to an article written by longtime Hollywood insider and journalist Tatiana Siegel, there are a couple reasons why the Batman Part 2 got delayed. According to Tatiana, reason number one, and this is squarely on Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is decided to fast track J.J. Abrams' new movie called The Great Beyond. I don't know shit about this movie. Should I look it up? What is there about The Great Beyond? What is so cool about J.J. Abrams' The Great Beyond that would cause Warner Brothers to want to fast track it? So, Great Beyond is an upcoming American science fantasy film written, co-produced, and directed by J.J. Abrams. Holy shit. Film stars Glenn Powell, Jenna Ortega, Emma Mackey, Sophie Okonedo, Merritt Weaver, and Samuel L. Jackson. Okay, well that's a decent. That's a pretty decent cast, actually. May 2024, it was reported J.J. Abrams was working on his next feature film in which Glenn Powell had talked to the league and Ortega joined the cast in this role. Powell from the start as well. In November, Emma Mackey joined Samuel L. Jackson in her talks. April 25, Jackson was confirmed. And Friend serves as cinematographer. April 25, the film was in pre-production. Warner Brothers. And Warner Brothers Studios leaves then in Hertfordshire, England. Filming took place in Edinburgh and Glasgow. I said that a little Scottish. In June of 25 and August 25, additional filming occurred in Cranston and Providence, Rhode Island, where the movie was referred to under the working title of Ghostwriter. Filming wrapped on August 25th, 2025. In January of this year, it was reported that the film's official title is The Great Beyond, with Sophie Okonedo and Merritt Weaver joining the cast. In July, so this month, it was announced that Abrams would also compose the score for the film. Okay. Alright, so that's a decent cast, sci fantasy. I mean, when Abrams is on point, I mean, people don't really go see J.J. Abrams movies for, like, the story. You know, they go for the spectacle that Abrams is capable of, which, when he's on point, is quite a high level. First 2 or 3 Transformers movies. So, okay. I mean, that sounds cool. But I don't know if that sounds awesome enough to fast track it and bump the Batman Part 2. But, for Tatiana, that's not the only reason, which actually gives another reason in and of itself to fast track The Great Beyond. Now, Warner Brothers wanted to in the first place. But the second part that she talked about could also be a reason why they kind of had to. And according to Ms. Siegel, Matt Reeves himself asked for 6 more months in post. So this delay is also on Matt Reeves. It's not just about JJ. It's also about Reeves. So you still haven't watched the Kelvin Timeline Star Trek films? Well, I'll put it this way. In order of quality, it's also the release order. First one's the best one. Second one, I enjoy, but a lot of people were like, "What the fuck?" That's fine. I'm fine being in the minority on that one. Although Benedict Cumberbatch is in it, and I'm kind of a Benedict Cumberbatch fan, so that might be part of it. But the third one was. Yeah, I'm not even going to bother with words on that one. That pretty much sums it up. Anywho. Yeah, so Reeves allegedly wants 6 more months to work on post. Warner Brothers already wanted to fast track Great Beyond, and now they have a reason to, thanks to Matt Reeves. So that's what's being reported by Tatiana Siegel. Now, there's also a rumor out there. And this rumor was talked about by Jeff Snyder last night on the Hot Mic. And he flat out said this is not confirmed or by any stretch of the imagination. It's just a rumor, even speculation. And that is that Matt Reeves needs that extra 6 months because he pulled a Marvel and was filming the Batman 2 and the Batman 3 basically simultaneously. So he needs another 6 months in post to get them separated and get the Batman Part 2 put together properly. And I almost kind of hope that's the case, really, because there's been a big gap between Batman 1 and 2. It's been delayed 4 times. Archer Etos, I think Magneto destroyed my microphone. He might have. That's a fun use of emojis, though. And I probably just didn't have it angled properly for my face. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Make sure you hit like. And if you haven't, hit subscribe and bell too. Please, thanks. So that could be fun if that's actually the case. If he's making 2 and 3 simultaneously, that would be a very good thing. If for no other reason, then we won't have another fucking 5? Or when did the Batman part? Was it 22? Is it 2022. November 2022. So, yeah, instead of having a fucking 5.5 year gap between 2 and 3, might only be a year or 2 at most if he's filming them both simultaneously, or at least mostly simultaneously. That would be kind of nice, in my opinion. And I would be significantly less disappointed in this 4th fucking delay. If the reason for that is that's going to massively... The cat's behind my computer rubbing on the cord. Shit. Nope. Anyway, yeah. Only having a 1 or 2 year gap between Batman 2 and 3 would be peak. Because this 5.5 year stuff is ridiculous. Five and a half years between movie sequels. Fucking 2, 3, 4, 5 years between seasons of a show. Now, Hollywood needs to get his poop in a group, man, and that's not just because of the fact that we're in the attention economy and people have fucking super short attention spans. Although that's part of it. But Jesus. Where was I? Right. Not just due to the short attention spans in the attention economy. Again, it's probably part of it. But, people, even those that don't have the super short attention span, you're gonna lose interest in like your project if you fuck around for too long between, seasons or sequels. Either or. You gotta... There's a point beyond which, keeping them wanting can work fairly well. Cliffhangers can work. I mean, back in the day when there were long seasons of TV, 20 to 23 episodes running from September to May, fall sweeps and May sweeps were a thing. Back then, you could cliffhanger the end of a season, but you'd only be waiting 3, maybe 4 months to get that shit resolved at the beginning of the next season. Inside the same year, that shit would get resolved. At least on TV. In movies, sequels would be 2-3 years, and they generally wouldn't, cliffhangers cliffhanger of feature film. But if it was a banger and people wanted more of it, Hollywood wasn't making them wait super long. I mean, take Star Wars for example. George put them out every 3 years. Disney put the sequels out every 2. Although they probably should have taken more time. The flaws in the sequels aside, Disney did not make us wait too terribly long to put those puppies out. And that gave people time to absorb and appreciate the one they had just seen, while also it's not, it wasn't taking too long to where the hype would go. Timing is, oh my God, timing is everything. Excuse me, I think I can't fuck around again. All right, bear with me for a minute. And make sure it's something I don't care if he's playing with. Hold on. He must have stolen this a while ago. It's a whole little Reese's pumpkin. It's going to get mauled later. Anyway. So, yeah, hopefully he was filming 2 and 3 basically simultaneously. Because this more than 3 years between sequels shit ain't it. Is that another fucking update from you, bitch? I'll take care of that when I'm done streaming. So, yeah. We have this delay potentially being more about Reeves than Warner Brothers, but a little bit about Warner. What do you guys think? How do you feel about that? What do you think about it being Reeves that's asking for 6 more months of post? And what do you think about the rumor? It's because he possibly was filming 2 and 3 at the same time. What say you, chat? How you feeling about that shit? You gonna let me win this time, Streamlabs, you motherfuckers? Finally. Sheesh. What to do about that shit. I'll say this much though, and I probably said this when we first talked about this story. If you need more months in post, like, this movie better be like fucking amazing. Like Rob from Comics Explained level of hype, like son, like you better be walking on. Everyone better be walking on that movie like, son, let me tell you something. Like it better be that fucking good after Fort Lane. Yeah. You guys got thoughts on that, or shall we move on? What do you guys think? All right. We got a discussion within a discussion left, chat. That's it. I told you. There's not a lot of news. So we really have like one, technically two subjects left, but one of them's kind of inside the other. So we're going to begin with a subject we already talked about Wednesday. And then we will continue on with the rest, as it all ties. So earlier this week, My Time to Shine Hello dropped this scoop. We have our first casting for the MCU X-Men reboot. Sources have told me Adam Driver has been cast as the villain. She didn't get any more specific than that. She just said the villain. And then Apocalyptic Horseman hops in same day, because I can actually corroborate this. And then he's playing Magneto. Now, obviously, we talked about this on Wednesday. I think most of us like Adam Driver as Magneto as a casting. Not everyone does, but a lot of people do. But then, I think that was Monday. But then, on Thursday, Apocalyptic Horseman comes out with this. So sorry, guys. Big mistake from my end, but hearing Adam Driver is Sinister. Bill Skarsgård is indeed one of the actors among a handful in the mix for Xavier. They're aiming young. Cooper Hoffman also is in the mix for Cyclops. He's not the only choice, though. More soon. Okay. So Apocalyptic Horseman comes out and is like, he's Magneto. Then comes out 3 days later. Oopsie, my bad. He's Sinister. And while we're at it, as part of the oopsie theme, actually, you know what? We'll come back to that. And then yesterday, Nexus Point News comes out with this. Adam Driver is reportedly being eyed to play William Stryker in Marvel Studios' X-Men. Now notice the difference in the verbiage. Apocalyptic Horseman said, cast. My Time to Shine Hello used the word cast. Nexus Point News is not saying he's been cast at all. It's saying he's being eyed to play William Stryker. So what the fuck is happening? We've gone from one source saying Magneto to the same source going, fuck, my bad, it's Sinister, to now Nexus Point News saying he's being eyed, not is, but is being eyed to play William Stryker. What the hell is going on in the spoofing community? Now, we all love Josh, but we all know that Josh can get a bit emotive sometimes. He is sometimes quick to anger. And sometimes in his anger, he forgets certain bits of information. Now, Josh was highly fucking pissed when Driver went from Magneto to Sinister to Stryker. And he lost his shit on Apocalyptic Horseman, went on an entire rant about new scoopers and all that good stuff, right? One minor issue. He went from bashing Apocalyptic Horseman and other news scoopers to citing Nexus Point News as a source you can trust, which I 100% agree with. Nexus Point News is a source you can trust. Here's the issue with Josh's rant, though, specifically about Apocalyptic Horseman. Up until 3 weeks ago when he announced he was leaving, going off on his own to do whatever, Apocalyptic Horseman was, for years, the lead scooper for Nexus Point News. He's not new. He's been around. And when he was, and for like a vast majority of the time he's been around, he is working with the source that Josh trusts. Or one of the sources Josh trusts. Yeah. So like I said, Josh has an amazing memory for details. He proves it pretty much every stream. But sometimes his memory gets affected by his emotions, which, as we all know, are volatile. I'm not shitting on him for it. I'm not bagging on him for it. But, you know, it is what it is. We've all seen it multiple fucking times. Josh can be volatile. Just the way it is. Hell, most of the time, his volatility is fucking entertaining as shit. But, you know, it can cause him to deal in inaccuracies. And in this case, he's quite inaccurate about Apocalyptic Horseman. And his reliability versus Nexus Point News, because he was the guy getting a lot of the shit for Nexus Point News for years. Not just for 4 years, but for years. Over a span of years. So, Apocalyptic Horseman is actually one of the higher tier scoopers out there and has been for quite some time. That aside, I had to point that out. I could have pointed that out to Josh, but he probably would have like banned me from YouTube and blocked me on Twitter. So I decided to like not even mention that in the comments on the video. I just saved it for now. I just want to hit. So just I figured I should put that out there for accuracy's sake. Because that is actually the case. Apocalyptic Horseman is not new. He actually has been one of the more reliable people out there for quite some time, and he used to work for one of Josh's trusted sources. So, for the sake of veracity, I'm putting that out. Now, setting that aside, we're starting to see a trend here, chat. We are starting to see a trend. That is not my that's my okay, anyway. Oh, I believe the same thing. Okay, anyway. p.m. Oh, what a coincidence. Okay. All right. So, there's a pattern forming, chat, which we will come back to. But before we do, last night, normally the hot mic with John Roca and Jeff Snyder. Normally that pops out on Thursdays, but due to scheduling issues, they did the show last night. And Snyder elected to do what he called a notebook dump. And a lot of it had to do with the X-Men. And Roka even dropped a little bit in there too. But Snyder dropped a whole bunch of stuff. And he started off by explaining that all these names are floating around out there. And one of the reasons they're changing is because Marvel is adjusting and shortening their list of people they want for roles. So there's that. That's item number one. And I'm going to be giving you these in the order he gave them because it was way easier to just write them down that way, honestly. And I feel like rearranging shit. So that was the first thing he said. He said Marvel's lists are being shortened, which is why names are floating around out there, and then some of them are being debunked later. I.e., Driver, as a prime example. Now, there are reports that part of what we're going to get at SDCC is some X-Men casting announcements. Well, according to Snyder, at least so far as his sources go, no one's beneficially casted. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that is true. It could be the fact. It could be that we do get some X-Men casting announcements next weekend. And Marvel was able to keep them hidden, even from sources as well placed as Jeff. Entirely possible, and we'll keep that in the back of your head. Marvel being able to keep that shit hidden. We're going to come back to that later. But at least so far as Jeff's concerned, he hasn't heard of anyone being settled on or anything outside of Sadie Sink as Jean Grey yet. Yeah. So a lot of names being floated about because a lot of insiders, he says, or scoopers, what have you, are scrambling to get the news right. Like, they'll hear one thing and they'll be like, hell yeah, and then another source will get to them and be like, nah, it's this. Or the same source will be like, my bad, I was wrong, it's this. So, and that's also a reason we're hearing about so many people being on lists for so many different characters from so many different scoopers. It's because they're getting bombarded with multiple bits of information and they're just trying to figure out what's real, and they're like, fuck it, I need clicks. Now that part I added, the fuck it, I need clicks. But yeah, according to Jeff, they're scrambling because their information keeps changing because no one's quite sure. None of those sources are quite sure exactly what Marvel's up to. Now, Jeff did say he had one and only one source maintain that Driver is Magneto. But again, we've had Apocalyptic Horseman come out and be like, nah. We've had Nexus Point News come out and be like, nah. And if Jeff says it's only one source, that means if he took the time to make that a point that it's only just the one source, he's basically saying monstrous grain of salt with that. So, personally, since it's just one source for him and all these other people changing their mind, I'm going to go ahead and say that Adam Driver's probably not Magneto. Now, whether he's Sinister or Stryker, I'm going to go. For me personally, that's still up in the air. It's just kind of funny that like a former employee of Nexus Point News is saying one thing, and Nexus Point News themselves is saying another. Now, what could be interesting, I suppose, maybe, is that even though he said he was leaving voluntarily, maybe it wasn't so voluntary because his percentage is dropping. Entirely possible. Interesting theory, even if I do say so myself, and it literally just occurred. But, that pure speculation aside, because that's all that is. Minor tinfoil hat moment. Speculation's putting it politely, conspiracy theory is putting it a bit more accurately, I will admit. Excuse me, piggy. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and say probably not Magneto. And also probably not Sinister. But we'll see on that one. I would say the odds of him being Sinister are obviously way higher than him being Magneto. I think he'd make a hell of a Mr. Sinister. Honestly, I don't know about y'all, but I think Sinister is a better fit for him than Magneto anyway. That's just my personal opinion. I can't really put into words exactly why. I don't know. I guess mostly it's just based off how he played Kylo Ren, but I feel like between Magneto and Sinister's closer to being Kylo, which means he'd probably be better at playing him, in my opinion. So, yeah, setting the Adam Driver of everything aside, Jeff saying there is probably no official casting. Nexus Point News said he was being eyed for Stryker. Didn't say anything about him being cast. So we'll see how that goes, obviously, but I mean, I think we can safely say he's going to be in the X-Men movie. Unlike for the Fantastic Four, they're willing to pay his price now. Of course, when they were casting for the Fantastic Four, that was a lot closer to when he was in his, at least in terms of popularity in his prime. And also of like bigger movies that got seen by people. He hasn't done a whole lot of those, and I don't know if he's done bombs per se. He's just done a lot of small movies that only a very small amount of like the movie going audience was even aware of. And so his asking price could be smaller at this point. And it could also be the fact that homie just in general needs money. He needs to be in a big movie because he needs to get his cachet back up and his fucking bank account back up. And he's willing to be another villain in another large franchise to fucking accomplish both those goals. I mean, it fucking makes sense to me. Now, we're going to go ahead and move on from the Adam Driver of it all, and we're going to move to Professor X. Now, we've already heard Bill Skarsgård from three different people as being in the running for Professor X. There was that rumor that Patrick Wilson, probably known best to us as Orm in Aquaman, was being eyeballed for Professor X. Well, Jeff poo-pooed the Patrick Wilson of it all, and he provided the following three names. He also is saying Bill Skarsgård. So I think we can safely say, like, between him and Nexus Point, or like, 2-3 other scoopers over the week putting his name out there, I think it's safe to say Marvel is actually taking a good look at Mr. Skarsgård to play Professor X. I personally don't love this. I think there are better choices out there. Don't ask me to name them. I'm not that familiar, but just in general, I'm not saying Bill Skarsgård is a bad actor or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. But to me, at least, he doesn't feel like a professor. But again, he's one of the names that Jeff put out there that multiple other scoopers seem to be agreeing with. I could have had this pulled up, but I didn't want to have too many windows open. I'm still getting used to what this computer can and cannot handle. I probably could be more confident, but you know. The next name he put out see if I can find a good image of it. What was this one? What? No, did do it. Oh, I did. Okay, so the next name he mentioned after Bill Skarsgård was this guy, Tom Pelphrey. I don't know him. I don't know. I'm not familiar with him. But if the rumors are true, he can handle 100 plus Chrome windows. Okay, fine. I'll remember that for next time. And also thank you for the information. I'm not familiar with this guy. But if the rumors are true about them going kind of with a younger cast overall for the X-Men and, you know, everybody, I can see it. I can see him more than Skarsgård. But again, I don't know. What the fuck is this dude? Let's find out about this Tom Pelphrey. Oh, he's 43, but he doesn't look it. American actor, known for playing the roles of Jonathan Randall on CBS's Guiding Light. Okay, so he started as a soap opera actor, but won Emmys. As the World Turns, Kurt Bunker on Banshee. Oh, he was in Iron Fist, so he's not completely unknown to Marvel. Oh, he was Ward. Oh, okay. Ben Davis on Ozark, Terry Abbott on Outer Range, on Fire and Death. Oh, he was on Task, that new show with Ruffalo that came out last year. Heard a lot of good things about that show. So Markovich and Fincher's Make. Prisoner Ground Return from a Murderer. Got an Emmy nomination for Ozark. Emmy nomination for Task. Yada, theater, blah, blah, blah. Filmography. Okay, so he was in Hitchhiker, Birds of America, Last Week, Living. Murder. So she said 666 Brewster. Okay, so he's done movies. A lot of them seem to be kind of smaller. Evidently, he's more famous for TV and soap. So he was in Numbers for an episode. Y'all ever watch Numbers? That was a good show. Did an episode of CSI Miami, an episode of Ghost Whisperer. What is that? Oh, that's Jennifer Love Hewitt. So a couple episodes of SVU. Good Wife, Body Proof, Blue Bloods, Following, Black Hawk, Nancy, Fox TV. He was in Iron Fist. He was the dickhead. He wanted to keep the company. Work out a range on the next one. Okay, so you know, not the most stunning of resumes. Numbers was great. Hell yeah, it was. Yeah, he's Ward from Iron Fist. So I can see him more than I can see Bill Skarsgård for Professor X for sure. And then third name that Jeff put out is this gentleman. This is Drew Starkey. Setting aside the earring, honestly, like, just for the look, I like this guy the best. Just for the look. He's got that, I don't know, he's got that kind of animated, square-jawed, intense-eyed look that we're used to with Professor X. You know what I mean? I have no idea what he sounds like speaking. Doesn't really matter. He doesn't have to sound like a cartoon, nor does he have to sound like Patrick Stewart, nor does he have to sound like James McAvoy. But at least looks-wise, for me, out of those three, best choice. Now, what's his career like compared to the other two? We know about Skarsgård. We just learned about Pelfrey. How does Mr. Starkey's resume look? Let's see. He's been active in in film since 2018. American Animals, Love Simon, The Hate You Give. Heard of that one actually. That's Mercy, Devil All the Time, and Battle. He was in the Hellraiser reboot. The other Zoe, he was in Queer. I've heard that's actually a really good movie. Onslaught, Deep Cuts, which are both in post, and King Snake, which is filming. So he's working. People are hiring him. See what his TV credits are like. Mercy Street, Shots Fired. Oh, he was also in Ozark. How fun. Valor, Good Behavior, Brockmire, Bobcat, Goldthwait, Misfits, and Monsters. Fucking Bobcat, Goldthwait? Okay. Resident, Doom Patrol, Queen Sugar, Scream Resurrection. There's a TV show about Scream. Part in Heartstrings, Limbo, Acting for Cause, Outer Banks. Oh, he's been active on Outer Banks since 2020. Okay. Main role. Criminalist and Coming Me. Okay, so I'd say the biggest thing, period, on his entire resume is Outer Banks. And he's had a main role in that. So that's not too bad. So those are the three names that Jeff has put out for Professor X. Skarsgård, which it seems everyone can agree Marvel's after his ass. And then Pelfrey, so far as we nerds go. The annoying dickwad and Iron Fist. And then Mr. Drew Starkey. Out of those three, not really having seen Pelfrey in anything that I'm familiar with outside of Iron Fist, and Drew Starkey, I haven't seen shit he's been in. All I can go by is like the look of it, the feel, and for me, that's Starkey. What do you guys think? Before we move on to the next thing, what do you guys feel about the people Mr. Snyder says are being eyeballed for Professor X? You guys put your opinions in the chat. I need another pop. I think good news for you, chat. I stood up and I'm middle-aged, which means I now have to stand up again and go pee because gravity always wins. And when Chillin has to go pee, you guys get to enjoy hotness. Peak hotness, in my opinion. I'll be back in a couple. You guys have fun. All right, time's up, bitches. Okay. So, those are the Professor X contestants, according to Mr. Snyder. We also have a name for Rogue. Now, I can't remember. I feel like this person's name has come up prior to Jeff saying anything about it. So this may be more in the way of confirmation than anything else. All right, so again, I feel like this name popped up before Jeff mentioned it, but he put a name out for Rogue. Again, I don't think he was the first one, so this is kind of more soft confirmation about this one. So between him and other sources, or other scoopers, it would appear that Marvel is definitely have their eyeballs on this actress for the role of Rogue. And that is Haley Spain. I can see it. I can see her as Rogue. Again, yes, she looks really fucking young, but rumors from way long ago have been saying that they were looking to go with a younger X-Men team. I mean, look at Sadie Sink. Her Jean Grey is young. Rogue should also be young, right? So, in terms of matching the age, the general age range of what it looks like they're going to be doing for this movie, she fits. Just in terms of the general look, she fits. Obviously, she's going to, they're going to have to do some stuff with her hair to make it look like Rogue's and all that crap, but just overall, for being chosen for a young Rogue, I think she works. Now, what is her resume like? Okay, so she also has done both film and television. She was in Pacific Rim Uprising 10 years ago, so she was way younger. She's 27 now, so obviously she was 17. Bad Times with the El Royale on Basis of Sex. Never even heard of that. She was in a version of The Craft Legacy. Okay. How It Ends. I've heard of that one. Priscilla, Civil War. Oh! She was Rain in Alien Romulus. Okay. That's cool. She's familiar with being in nerdy shit. I like it. Wake Up Dead Man. And then she has upcoming movies. Oh, she's going to be in the Elden Ring movie. Cool. And then on TV, she was in Devs, Mayor of Easttown, First Lady and Beef. She was in season 2 of Beef and also an executive producer. And in Dead by Daylight. I'm assuming that's an alien thing because that's her same alien character, Rain Carity. Alright. Alright, so she's got, not a mind-blowing resume, but a good resume. So she is someone that Marvel is, again, multiple insiders have mentioned her. So I would say her and Skarsgård are definitely safe to say Marvel's like, yo. They're in strong consideration. Let's see what other goodness Mr. Snyder has for us here. Okay, so here's where a couple things that Snyder said, I'm like, not that I'm disbelieving him, but like, hope not. So according to Jeff, they are potentially adapting a comic run from 2008-2009 called The Young X-Men. Now, I've never really heard of this. But so I'm not gonna go over like a whole fucking what this is about. This run only made 12 issues. But the character list is a little, I don't know what the fuck is happening. So I'm really hoping Jeff is wrong on this one, but here's the character list for that run. Cyclops, but not actually Cyclops. It's Donald Pierce posing as Cyclops. It ain't Scott Summers. Moonstar, Sunspot, him we've heard of. Anole, I don't know how to pronounce that shit. Blindfold, Cypher, Dust, Grey Malkin, Ink, Rockslide, and Wolfcub. So, again, we've, like, long ago, one of the earliest rumors about this X-Men reboot movie, that's what you want to call it, reboot, I guess you almost kind of have to, was that they were going to go for a younger X-Men team. According to Jeff, there's a possibility that that's not a description of the general ages of the team, but that they are adapting that team. Now, here's why I doubt that. Number one, Rogaine on that team. Number two, Jean Grey on that team. So really, that doesn't make sense. What makes more sense is that it's just a younger X-Men team. And people have talked about it being along the lines of Claremont being a heavy influence, when Claremont's X-Men team is the one that everyone is the most familiar with, which is the team that's in the original X-Men animated series and, the one now. In X-Men 97. That's the team most people think of. Scott, Jean, Wolverine, Rogue, Gambit, Nightcrawler, more. Professor. With Magneto also not necessarily being on the team until 97, but, main character, right? Basically, the people that we're fucking used to are mostly the people they're going with, just a younger version, sort of like the younger Fox group, although the younger Fox group was more about like the 60s version of the X-Men rather than the 80s. Excuse me. There was a bit of a mix. Anyway, um, so with all the other characters that are being talked about out there, I really highly doubt that storyline is being adapted. I'm pretty sure that's just a description of the team. I also hope, fervently hope that it's just a description of the fucking team. But Jeff Hurd, and again, I'm about a young actress that's potentially playing Blindfold, who was a member of that young X-Men team. Now, could Marvel be doing the usual Marvel thing and, you know, taking shit we're used to in the comics and making their own personal adjustments? Very possibly. So, is it possible that the Blindfold character could be added to the MCU version of the X-Men entirely? And Jeff heard that Blindfold is in this movie, and that this lady would be playing her, or is at least being looked at to play her. Let me introduce you to Monica Barbaro or Barbaro. Not sure. No, I know jack squat about Blindfold. Probably should have looked up an image of Blindfold to see if this actually worked. You know what? Let me go ahead and do that shit. Evidently she runs around literally in the barn. Alright. Bear with me, chat. Okay, so this is Blindfold in the comic. And this is Ms. Barbaro, or Barrow. Comic character, potential actress. I mean, it fits. She does have the look. But again, given the other casting that we're hearing about and what Sadie Sink know about, basically, obviously nothing's confirmed till Spider-Man comes out. But, you know. According to Jeff, they're considering doing the character Blindfold, and they're considering Monica Barbaro for that role. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's entirely possible that they're, you know, because the character's street name is Ruth Aldine. You know, the government name is Ruth Aldine. Superhero name Blindfold. What I think might be happening, especially considering that casting outside of Marvel outside of, you know, Marvel Studios fucking around makes no sense to have Blindfold on a team that, you know, looks to be way more traditional based on all the other rumored characters. So I'm thinking maybe her government name, Ruth, is a code name. Like how Marvel did with, you know, fucking Steve Rogers' house being Luke Cage's house. You know, code name for that house was Luke Cage's house, and it was really Steve Rogers. There are other examples that are not coming to mind right now, but yeah, Marvel likes to code name shit to cover up what the fuck it really is. So to me, they could be using Ruth / Blindfold as a cover for a different character. Or, as previously stated, maybe they've decided to incorporate Blindfold into their version of the X-Men. No telling. But that's an X-Men casting thing that Jeff heard about, that he talked about last night, so I am passing it the fuck along. But keep in mind, this whole Blindfold thing doesn't make a lot of sense compared to the rest of it. Keep that in the back of your mind. We'll come back to it. Now, Jeff had one more thing he threw out. Jeff did hear that they are right now actively casting, for Emma Frost. Yeah, shit image. All the way out of that. God damn it. There. That's much better. Okay, so. Sorry, my head itched there for a moment. Yeah, so Snyder thinks they are actively casting for Emma Frost right now. And he heard a name. Now, this name he heard just for the movie, the X-Men movie. And he speculated that this is probably a candidate for Emma Frost based on the fact that he heard they're actively casting for Emma Frost. And the name he heard, I don't know if you guys are familiar with her, but the name he heard was this lady right here, Michelle Randolph. Now, obviously, a fuck ton of people have been fan casting one Sydney Sweeney for Emma Frost, and I can't say as I blame them much. Because Sydney Sweeney is literally built like a comic book character, and we all know what I mean by that. Anyway, however, setting that fan casting aside, and honestly, I don't know that Marvel would want her, much less that she would want to do it. Although I'd say the odds of her taking the role are higher than Marvel offering it to her. We have this Ms. Michelle Randolph here. It would appear she's associated with Frozen in some fashion. Maybe she's like a live action, or I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so setting the Sydney Sweeney of it aside, I totally can see her as Emma Frost. Now, obviously, she's not quite as there are certain aspects of Ms. Randolph here that don't quite match the comic. But that aside, I'd say she definitely has the look overall. What do you guys think? Just as the look goes, what do you guys think? I'm going to check her resume out in just a second. Alright, so she's born 97, so she's 31. No, 29. And she will be on September 11th. Oh, how fun. Her 4th birthday was a dinger. When the towers got attacked. She's been acting since she was 16, started in Low Budget Films. Signed as a model also in 2016. I can see hers a model making sense. She got the look that drives the guys wild. Yeah, she's definitely a very attractive young lady. So here is her resume. Not extensive. Movie-wise, we have House of the Witch, A Snow White Christmas, 5 Years Apart, The Resort, The Throwback, Scream 7, Flashing Through the Snow, whatever the fuck that is. Christmas comedy film. Okay. So the only thing of note of note that she's done on the big screen really is Scream 7. And on TV, she was in 1923. Wasn't that isn't that like one of the Taylor Sheridan Yellowstone shows? 1923. That the one with Sam Elliott in it? Am I right on that one? Yep, that's the Taylor Sheridan shit. Second Family 23. Helen Mirren. Oh yeah, the one with Harrison Ford in it. And the one with Brandon. Oh yeah, with Brandon Sklenar, who was an early fan cast for the DCU Batman. Okay. Yep. So she had a main role in it. She had a main role in a Sheridan thing. Landman also? Oh, that's the one with Billy Bob Thornton and Demi Moore. Okay. I've seen commercials for that. Alright, so from what I understand, Landman. Oh, it's another Taylor Sheridan project. Okay, so Taylor Sheridan likes himself in the program. So if you're a Taylor Sheridan fan, you kind of know about her already, I guess. I, however, have not watched any of the Taylor Sheridan shows. Not because I've heard bad things about them, but just because I have so much other shit I want to watch. So yeah, no, I've heard nothing but good things about the Taylor Sheridan shit. So, I mean, she's not unknown. She definitely, overall, minus a couple of things, has the look of Emma Frost, I would say. So that's the X-Men shit that Jeff has heard. But that's not all the X-Men shit that was talked about on the hot mic last night. Rocha popped in with his own shit. Now remember, while Rocha is not like as active as like a scooper or insider as, you know, your Jeff Snyders, your Alex Perez's, your Apocalyptic Horseman, your Nexus Point News, your Cryptic HD Qualities, even your Geeky casts. He did have the Punisher Hulk thing first. He's nailed a couple of others. He's had a couple other things way before other people. So he also had some shit to say on last night's Hot Mic. Now, he did not say if this was the same source that gave him the Punisher Hulk thing that I can recall. I don't recall him being specific as to whether that was the same source or not. He didn't bring that up. But here's what he had to say. Patrick Wilson, a.k.a. Orm, is not in the running for Xavier. I am not depressed about this news. His source also said that Skarsgård is the top choice right now. Which, for me, kind of a bummer. I'd rather have one of the other two. At least look-wise, my vote is Starkey. Not sure about the talent, but at least so far as the look goes, Starkey's my choice. Skarsgård is my last choice. His source also said Adam Driver, they want Driver for the villain. And his source also said said villain is not Magneto. Now, Snyder had also scooped a week or so ago, I can't remember exactly, that Marvel was looking at Charles Melton for Beast. And again, Beast, another character that was not in the actual Young X-Men run, but is in our more, more traditional team that we're all used to. So, Rocha's source confirms Snyder's scoop that Marvel is hard looking at Charles Melton for Hank McCoy. As we went over in that one tweet earlier, Cooper Hoffman is being eyed for Cyclops. Now, let's take a look at Mr. Melton and Mr. Hoffman. Get it in our minds. That'd be an interesting one. I really looked up Charles Melton. Oh wait, he's banging fucking Daisy. What's her butt from fucking? Is that her? Daisy. Oh, Chloe Bennett. Yeah, Daisy. Yeah, wow. Tagging Chloe Bennett. Anyway, Chloe Bennett from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Daisy Johnson. Oh, he's in Beef Season 2 as well. Who was the other one that we were talking about that's in Beef Season 2? Alright, so I guess we'll go with yeah, okay, well, he doesn't really look like Hank McCoy in any of these images, so we may have to use our brains a little on this one, but alright, so this is the guy that, what up, Nate? That a couple people are saying Marvel is heavily eyeballing for one Hank McCoy beef. I didn't know what he looked like till now, and I personally don't care, but I feel like people are going to bitch about this one. Yeah, I think people would bitch about this one. I personally don't have a problem with it, as long as he's a good actor. And let's face it, how much time he spends looking normal the way they treated Nicholas Hoult in the Young Fox X-Men cast, how much time he spends looking normal and how much time he spends in blue fur is probably going to be a deciding factor in how much people are going to bitch about this. So we'll see. If they're going with a young X-Men team, it's entirely possible that he's going to spend a reasonable amount of time looking normal before they stick him in the fur, kind of like the way they did with Nicholas Hoult. So we'll see, but evidently this here is the lead candidate for Hank McCoy. How do you guys feel about him? Oh, he's fucking Philip Seymour Hoffman's kid. So he probably, well, if the genetics hold true, as long as he sounds like a smart scientist who cares what he looks like, 100% agree. I didn't realize Cooper Hoffman was Philip Seymour Hoffman's kid. Okay. That's cool. So this is the guy that evidently, again, a few different scoopers have brought this guy's name up as being the lead person right now, or at least some of Marvel's considering for Scott Summers. Based off this photograph, I can see it, but there are plenty of others where it's kind of like, oh. I can kind of see it a little bit. He needs to bulk the fuck up, and he needs to like lose. Well, he needs to lose a little bit of weight in the face at least. So he's got the beginnings of like a superhero-y jawline, but the cheeks need to thin out, and everything else needs to fucking bulk up. He needs a good 20 pounds of muscle and a lot of cardio to eliminate some of the baby fat on the face. And then he'd probably look a lot more Scott Summers. I can see a basis for it, but he definitely would need work, in my opinion, for sure. But if he has even 50 to 60% of his dad's acting ability, he'll be able to act the fuck out of the role. Philip Seymour Hoffman is his dad. Now, just as a tangent, he's more beast than Cyclops. I mean, I can see that too, for sure. Ooh, that's cute. So yeah, just a quick tangent about his dad. How many of us saw the movie Twister and saw Dusty and said, that dude's going to be an Academy Award winning actor someday? I fucking did. Not even close, but it happened. I think Philip Seymour Hoffman won an Oscar. Yes, he did. Ah, that's right. It was in 2006 for being Truman Capote in the film Capote. Okay, so yeah. I don't know anyone who saw Dusty and Twister and was like, he's going to win an Oscar in like 9, 10 years. Or 14. There are many, many better options for Scott. I mean, I'm not saying that. Or I'm not saying that's not true. There are definitely probably better options out there. But on the other hand, with a little bit of Hollywood body magic, I can see it. Excuse me. And if there's any town where actors are able to do what needs to be done with their body for roles, that's the town that can make it fucking happen. In short order. And I 100%. Well, that's probably not the best way to put it. But, well, actually, yeah, I'm 100% in favor of if they hire that dude, they better get his ass into the gym. He needs to get under some heavy shit and lift it repeatedly. Come on. Do the thing. Thank you. Yeah. No, I agree. There are better options out there, but could also make that one work. Is all I'm saying. All right. Yeah, Roka's source is like, yeah, Sadie's Gene. No shock there. Okay. Now, Roka's source also said early rumors about no Wolverine or Magneto in the X-Men movie is the way it is. If he gets the Chris Pratt treatment, it might work. Exactly. Thank you for that example. Yes. Because let's face it, Chris Pratt was a pudgy bitch in, what was that, Parks and Rec? I mean, I'm a pudgy bitch, so I'm not bagging on him for it, but, you know, he definitely was not in superhero shape when he was on the sitcom. That's all I'm saying. Anyway. So yeah, Roka's source confirms that early rumors about no Wolverine or Magneto in the X-Men movie are accurate, which again puts a further kibosh on Driver possibly being Magneto. And the reason there's going to be no Wolverine is because Hugh Jackman is not giving it up. So whenever they decide to introduce the actual full-on 616 Wolverine, main MCU Wolverine, it ain't going to be in the first X-Men movie. Because Hugh Jackman's going to be running around with Ryan Reynolds for a hot minute. Or maybe not even that, but he's going to be doing Wolverine-type things, but not with the team. His source also said that Emma Frost is going to be in the movie, but they're going to use her as an anti-hero rather than a full-on villain. They want Margot Robbie, but probably won't get her for this, just like they didn't get her for Fantastic Four. Evidently, they didn't want to pay both Driver. Well, they might not want to pay both Driver and her anyway. Again, same reason they didn't get her for Fantastic Four. She asked for too much moolah after Barbie. Can't say as I blame her, but that's just the case. I hate when I can't read my own writing. Oh, okay. They are planning on having both Apocalypse and Sinister overall being in the saga as villains. But they're going to develop both. But at this point in time, they haven't decided which one is going to ultimately be the big bad of the mutant saga. Now, does it make sense to have Sinister be the big bad and not Apocalypse? Yes and no. Actually, I should reverse that. No and yes. Obviously, no, because Apocalypse is responsible for turning. Damn it! I had his normal name, Nathaniel Essex, into Sinister. Like that's how Sinister becomes full-on Sinister as we know him. Is because Apocalypse turned Essex into him. And of course, Apocalypse is fucking Apocalypse. Like, when Apocalypse is around, he is the big bad, right? We all know about Apocalypse. We know how powerful he is. They're pumping him up big time in X-Men 97 right now. So, in a way, would it be weird if Apocalypse wasn't the overall big bad of the saga? Yes. However, having Sinister be the big bad of the entire saga also makes sense. Even if you develop both him and Apocalypse, you can hold off on Apocalypse being the big bad until the next thing. You don't ignore him. You show him. You show him manipulating shit like Sinister. You show him putting together maybe some horsemen. So you don't show him going full on conquering time yet. You can focus on Sinister, acknowledge Apocalypse, show him a few times without having him step forward as the ultimate big bad. You can do both. You can have your cake and eat it too with those two. But it would still make much more sense if Apocalypse ends up being the overall big bad. Because let's face it, between Apocalypse and Sinister, who is much more Thanos-like? Apocalypse. Hands down, not even a fucking question. But it's cool that they're developing both, in my opinion. His source, this is a fun one. His source also said they will not be repeating Kang in the Mutant Saga. So if you were a Kang fan and you were hoping sometime during the Mutant Saga it would be long enough for everyone to forget about the bullshit of Quantumania and the Victor Timely, they're not taking that chance. No Kang even in the Mutant Saga, at least as of right now. He is not in the plan. Did I really write that shit down twice? Yes, I did. Okay, and that was it from Roka. So that was everything that was dropped on the hot mic last night in terms of casting and a couple story things. How do you guys feel about that shit? Where are you guys at on that shit? Excuse me. We got one more little doodad to talk about, and then we're fucking early time. I'll chit chat. Subject will be done. Excuse me. Damn, everyone's fucking left. I'm down for most of it. I think a lot of it's good. Them adapting the Young X-Men run, please God no. Don't know who any of those characters are. We're talking, that would be like doing B-team shit. And as we learned in phases 4 and 5, doing B-team shit is not it. And again, all the other casting rumors kind of put the kibosh on that being a thing anyway. At least mostly. Unless you take into account Marvel's penchant for fucking around and adjusting shit the way they want. Which would allow for the potential casting of that, what's-her-fuzz, Monica Barbaro as Blindfold. Maybe they're incorporating a couple characters from that run or a couple elements from that run. But every other casting rumor indicates they're going with a much more traditional X-Men team that, you know, even normies are aware of in general. And of course, we nerds are very. I wish the Scoopers would get their shit together. I was excited for Magneto Driver, not as excited for Adam Sinister. Well, it's looking like it's going to be Adam Stryker. At least according to Nexus Point News. And don't worry, we're about to talk about Scoopers. That's the final subject. We're about to talk about Scoopers and what's going on. But before we get into that, you guys have any further thoughts on that info dump from the hot? But you're right. I wish they would get their shit together too. But might not be all their fault. I like Thunderbolts, but to be honest, Thunderbolts 2 won't bring hype. 100% agree. Avengers, X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man should be the only MCU movies, while the others get cameo or TV shows. Yeah, pretty much. Yep. I 100% agree. If you want to bring in lesser-known characters, you bring them in under those big-name banners. The way you did at the beginning of Phase 1. And somewhat in Phase 2. Yeah, 100% agree. That's what they should do going forward. Now, to that point, if they really want to bring in Blindfold, bringing her in under the main X-Men team would be the best idea. Not that fucking basically like on the level of, not the same as, but on the level of, say, the Authority. Thunderbolts 2 will do much better in the first one if they get the cast right. We don't need another solo Thunderbolts movie. Like, we don't need another Thunderbolts movie. We kind of almost don't even need another Fantastic Four movie. Oh, no, get me wrong. First Thunderbolts movie is great, but it massively underperformed, which means the general audience doesn't give a shit. Which means they need to be under a big banner. They need to be in an overall Avengers movie, not another Thunderbolts movie. Or an X-Men Avengers crossover. Like perhaps Judgment Day, which would not only be dope, but would actually tie up a couple loose ends from fucking Phase 4. Well, specifically tie up the end of the Eternals movie. Lynn Arishem says he's going to come back and render Judgment. And in the comics, that was the Judgment Day event, which had literally everyone in it. Avengers, X-Men, everybody. Not down with F4 going back to their own universe after Secret Wars. Yeah, not putting everyone on 616 is a very weird decision. On paper. If they have figured out a way to execute it really well and make it make sense and not be annoying, then okay, cool. But they got a lot of work to do to overcome the feeling that we all have after Phase 4 and 5. Even if Doomsday and Secret Wars are super lit, which I have full confidence they will be, I still don't think those two movies are going to be enough to wash the Phase 4 and 5 out of our mouths. And leaving shit as it was during the Multiverse Saga on paper, definitely not the best idea. They're going to have to do a lot of awesome marketing and a lot of amazing projects in order to make that shit work. For sure. Now, before we dive into the scoopers of it all, any further thoughts on that input? Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, and X-Men. Which other big names do you think should have gotten movies after Phase 3? Well, we should have gotten an Avengers movie a lot sooner. Like, getting an Avengers movie at the end of each phase in the Infinity Saga was the way to go. So obviously that. Honestly, Avengers, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man. I mean, it'd be big names inside of each of those. Like, I want a full-on 616 Norman Osborn. Willem Dafoe doesn't count in No Way Home. He's from the Tobey universe. So that's a pretty big name. I want a Norman Osborn. I want to see the Annihilation Wave. I want to see the Shi'ar. We already have the Kree. We already have Skrulls. I want a Norrin Rad Silver Surfer. I want a 616 Galactus. We have an 828 Galactus with Kalabal. I want a 616 Galactus with Norrin Rad. As for like solo movies or whatever, I don't know that anyone else really needed to get a solo movie. Like, it needs to be, honestly, really going forward, I don't know that they need to do too many solo movies ever again. Not the one, Mr. Anderson. Welcome, Silver Surfer. I don't know that Silver Surfer really needs a solo movie. I mean, we definitely need Norrin Rad around with Galactus, 100%. I don't know that. I think solo movies need to become very rare. And there needs to be individual teams along with very eventized team crossovers. I am with Nate though. I want Doctor Strange 3. Like, at least finish the trilogy. Trilogies are just, they are what they are. Movie people love trilogies. So I think they should finish that trilogy. But after that, I'm with Sanoff. I don't think he needs to get another solo movie. I don't think there needs to be a Doctor Strange 4. Finish the trilogy and, stick him in all kinds of other shit. Teaming up with whoever they think they need to. Specifically, they need to stick him in fucking, goddamn it, Midnight Suns. After Doctor Strange 3, or hell, if they really want to get funky, they could use Doctor Strange 3 to introduce the Midnight Suns. How fucking dope would that be? Have him lead the Midnight Suns. That would be dope. Very low budget Punisher movie could have been a decent idea. It was called The Special Presentation. We got that. It was The Special Presentation. And honestly, so far as the solo thing for him goes, that's really kind of enough. I'd like to see him bebopping in and out of bigger titles, just shooting the fuck out of people. Maybe one, like, full feature-length Punisher movie. But other than that, throwing him in, like, just about every street-level thing that you make, give me that. Not necessarily all of them, but in a lot. Any chance some variant of Midnight Suns show up in Doomsday or Secret Wars? Doomsday, no. Secret Wars, yes, I would say there's a chance in that. In Doomsday, less than 1% chance. I'm not going to say impossible. I will almost never say impossible, but like a minuscule likelihood of Doomsday. Much better chance of Secret. Yeah, maybe not all of them, but some of them. It might be best to have Doctor Strange 3 be called Doctor Strange and the Midnight Suns. I mean, that would be a good way to kick it off. I mean, even if they give him something where it's mostly him during the movie and then they sort of put the group together in like the third act, that would work as well. But yeah, Doctor Strange 3 and the Midnight Suns is a damn fine idea, I must say. I must agree with you on that one. I must agree with you on that. All right. Ghost Rider, Blade, Moon Knight. Yes, 100%. 100% agree. And Midnight Suns is the best way to bring Moon Knight back. And after however many years it's going to be before even a Blade solo movie really kind of needs to be off the table at this point. Just bring him in under a Midnight Suns banner and have him be kind of like, actually, make him the leader of the Midnight Suns. Like, Doctor Strange can be a founder, but then he can go off and do other shit with, like, the Avengers and the X-Men and shit. But at this point, just bring Blade in with as on the Midnight Suns, then have him basically be the Fury of the Midnight Suns while Doctor Strange pops in and out here and there. Joins the Midnight Suns for a bit, goes back to being an Avenger, helps the mutants out with something, that kind of thing. Yeah. All right. Final subject. As Nate brought up, saying he wishes these scoopers would get their act together. And he has a point. Because something's going on with the scooping community lately. We got all kinds of new people popping out all kinds of stuff that is sometimes interesting, but sometimes just fucking weird and whack. A lot of times it seems like they're just throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. And then some of the bigger ones, again, one of which is Apocalyptic Horseman. That's just a fact. He is one of the bigger ones. At least, when I say bigger, I'm talking like your My Times and your Rickmans. But he is a bigger one. That over the last couple weeks, like 3 of the bigger scoopers have come out with apologies. A week or two ago, if you'll recall, Alex Perez came out with an apology about saying Doom was from another universe and being like, my bad, he actually is from 828. And then we had to engage in a whole lot of speculation about how, like, certain other rumors could still work with him being from 828. And then, of course, this week, we had Apocalyptic Horseman going, yeah, Adam Driver's Magneto. And then 3 days later going, fuck, I was wrong. He's Sinister. And then the people he used to work for being like, technically right now, he's just being eyeballed. He's not cast. And they're looking at him for striking. So what the fuck happened there? So we got Alex Perez fucking up on where Doom is from, the universe. We got Apocalyptic Horseman fucking up on Adam Driver. And then earlier on Saturday, another scooper that I don't know how much we've talked about him here, but I've seen him around a lot. I've seen his shit a lot. Mostly his Spider-Man shit. That's like his forte. He's called that Redacted Guy. I don't know. Again, I don't know how much we've talked about him, but I've been keeping an eye on him, and he's pretty fucking good. Like a lot of the other higher tier scoopers, have given him credit for a lot of things. So he's reliable. None of them are perfect, but in terms of reliability, he's higher than most. He comes out yesterday, technically now in my time zone, it's yesterday, with this. It says it does seem like the Russos will be the ones to introduce Black Suit Spider-Man and Secret Wars. For a bit, that's what was being planned for Brand New Day, but I'll happily take that out because he's been saying that he's one of the people that's like, Peter's going to die and be resurrected by the symbiote, which is why I say Secret Wars is arguably the more appropriate project for it, so I do apologize for that. So we got Alex Perez, the biggest of the three, having to apologize for getting Doom's universe wrong. We got Apocalyptic Horseman busting out 2 different names for Adam Driver, and according to the people he used to work for at Nexus Point News, neither of them are accurate either. And he straight out said cast. My Time to Shine Hello also said cast, but she wasn't specific about who. Apocalyptic Horseman, again, cast as Magneto. Oops, my bad, cast as Sinister. Nexus Point News, not cast, being eyeballed for William Stryker. And now that Redacted guy being like, okay, yeah, I thought he was getting the black suit at the end of Brand New Day, but it's not till Secret Wars, my bad. What the fuck is happening with these scoopers? Why are they having, why have, like, again, some big names come out, well, 2 of them this week, and then Perez a week or so ago being like, I done fucked up. This is what it is. Well, if you guys will recall, back when Doomsday was first announced, in an interview, the Russos had said that we've developed a lot of ideas and strategies to really cut down and do our best to eliminate them. And of course, most of us, myself included, when I first saw/read that, I laughed. I'm like, because, Marvel, up until recently, was basically a sieve. That thing was leaking like crazy. Info was coming out. It proved to be accurate most of the time. Marvel leaked a lot. And then come the Russos, and they're bragging about a strategy to cut down on leaks. And now, some of this is definitely because Marvel is Marvel, and they change shit all the fucking time. But even as far back as Multiverse of Madness, Scoopers were out there talking about some shit that was not, or no, sorry, Deadpool and Wolverine. Y'all remember talking about how there was going to be a fight between Wanda and Jean Grey and Deadpool and Wolverine? There were some other big things, and that one came from Alex. And again, some of this could be because Marvel's Marvel, they change shit. But starting with Deadpool and Wolverine, that's where like a lot of stuff was coming out, and then a fair chunk of it was ending up being wrong. Now, changes could account for some of that, but not all of it. And yeah, we heard a lot of shit about Brand New Day, and it seems like we've heard a lot of shit about Doomsday, but we really haven't heard that much. If you think about it, we only have a very general idea. Even with that plot leak that came out, we still only have a really general idea of how that's going to work. There's a lot of info that's missing. And there's a lot of info that, 6 years ago, we would have by now. And we don't have it. And the closer it's gotten to when Brand New Day's coming out, we found out that we know less than we thought about that either. And again, over the last couple of weeks, we've got big scoopers coming out and issuing public mea culpas. My bad. I took an L on that. So I am forced to question. Is it down to just Marvel being Marvel and changing a lot of shit? Or are the strategies that the Russos came up with for Doomsday working on everything? Is Marvel actually starting to win their war with the scoopers? Brand New Day is going to break $3 billion? I don't think so. I think the only Marvel movie that has a shot of that is Secret. That's just personal. But yeah, the only, again, Marvel changes shit all the fucking time, right up until the last minute. Like I just saw that, like literally this week, they finally, only just now, 2 weeks from the premiere, locked Brand New Day. It has only just now been locked. Typical fucking Marvel, right? They plus right up until the last minute. It's what they do. They do shit on the fly. They change shit all the time. However, the amount of details that are accurate coming out, Marvel changing shit all the time does not account for the amount of erroneous information that is ending up out there. At least not in my opinion. Marvel, whatever strategies they're coming up with, I think they're working. I think the scoopers are getting way less. I think they're willing to take chances on way more because they're not getting the level of confirmation they used to get because Marvel strategies are working. Jesus, my forehead is working. Keep my eyebrows up a lot, I guess. But yeah, I think Marvel strategies are really working. We're getting less info, and of the info that comes out, the percentage of it that's out there is less accurate. It's smaller. I think that's why these scoopers' percentages of accuracy are dropping. I don't think it's because they're getting lazy or they overall suck. I think the amount of information that they're getting just in general is way down. And because it's way down and harder to confirm, they're willing to take more chances on putting some info out there. Not all of it, obviously, but some. Now, I also think that some of them that are out there are also basically on Marvel's payroll and are doling out shit and only a certain amount of shit as approved by Marvel. Like they're controlling the flow purposely in Marvel's favor. Now these other ones that are starting to get more shit wrong, I think Marvel's just finding a way to bottleneck that info. I don't see any other reason why these scoopers are all of a sudden having their accuracy percentage drop. I don't think it's on them. I think it's Marvel. I think Marvel is starting to win. Now Marvel will not be able to keep everything hidden ever. Shit's gonna get out that's dead ass accurate. It's just gonna happen. There's no way it's not gonna happen. There are too many people involved in these productions. But Marvel is definitely starting to succeed in minimizing that shit. Which means that we, the people that are into this shit, now have to start engaging in more skepticism. Doesn't mean we're going to stop speculating, because we love to speculate as if this shit was true. I'm not going to stop doing that. I mean, I'm going to talk about the rumors. I may opine on how accurate I think. I will speculate on how shit could go, assuming they're accurate. That's never going to stop, at least not around here. But the amount of salt that we have to suck up to go with these rumors, I think, and scoops going forward has to be bigger. We're going to need more salt, chat. We are going to need more salt. What do you guys think? Do I think Sadie Sink as Jean Grey is legit? In my opinion, it's not. Very well could be, but it seems very obvious. Yeah, I'm 100% convinced she's Jean Grey. I have zero doubt. It doesn't mean it's 100% locked, but in my mind, I have no doubt that she's Jean Grey. Her being Jean Grey has been a thing for literally years. Like, that was one of the first things that came out about this movie. Even before she was, even when she was only being talked about as being cast, before she was even confirmed. And Jean Grey's the only one that's held up, and lately every scooper's just been like, yeah, she's fucking Jean Grey. Like, all the big scoopers are admitting she's Jean Grey, or saying she's Jean Grey. So, when that cabal, as Josh likes to call them, all agree on a thing, I mean, yeah, the trades aren't saying it. Yeah, Marvel isn't saying it. But if the cabal is unanimous on a subject, it's basically true. It's basically what it is. Yes, and a lot of people say it does seem very out of place. Yes and no. Like, to me, it makes sense that a solo Jean Grey, not having had the benefit of being raised by Charles Xavier, essentially trained, brought through early adulthood by, in that case, it kind of makes sense that she'd end up in Spider-Man's New York, especially if she's being pursued by the Department of Damage. I mean, think about it. When He Who Remains was, prior to him dying at the end of Loki Season 1, he was in full control of the Sacred Timeline. And he had a vested interest in preventing people that could unseat him from being a thing, which means he may not have been able to eliminate the X gene, but he damn sure could suppress it. Which means there were basically no mutants in the 616 until he died. At the end of Loki Season 1. And if you recall, right before he died, he said something about, things spinning out of control and shit happening that he didn't want to happen, basically. I can't remember exactly what he said. But that was, the basic idea behind what he was saying. So, of course, it would make sense that people who had an inactive X gene before he died, once he was dead and unable to control shit like he used to, it only makes sense that their X gene would activate. And again, when Jean Grey's X gene activated after the death of He Who Remains, presumably. She would have had, again, no Professor X to guide her in morality, no Professor X to train her in her abilities. For her and any other mutants that activated at He Who Remains' death, it would be like a blind person suddenly being given sight. They'd be overwhelmed. You know, obviously the Department of Damage Control would learn about their existence once they started popping up. So she'd be learning her powers on her own, being pursued constantly because she has powers. So yeah, her being not the Jean Grey we're used to in a Spider-Man movie, once you really think about how shit goes, it actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah, people have talked about her being Julia Carpenter before. The reason you think that is she first met Spidey in the Avengers in Secret Wars 6, where she helped him to face Doom and the Hulk. Yeah, but one thing you also have to keep in mind, Marvel Studios has never, ever, 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 and probably will never do a one-to-one adaptation of the comic. Got to always keep that in mind. And it's something I fail to do when I get to speculate. I will forget that they don't do that. And then I'll remember and be like, okay. They will adapt ideas. They will adapt portions. But I mean, like, if they were doing one-to-ones, Civil War would have been a saga. Not just a movie. Like, think about the extent of that story in the comics. Like, that would have had to have been an entire, well, if not an entire saga, an entire phase at least. Just as an example. Like, Civil War, if they wanted to stay comic accurate, would have been a phase. But they knocked that motherfucker down to one movie. They kept the basic idea of it, they kept the basic themes of it, but, you know, they crammed it down into 2.5 hours and put a twist on it, called it a day. So, yeah, I'm 100% sure she is Jean Grey. As sure as I can be without seeing it happen in the theater. So, but yeah, I think, as Nate asked, what the fuck is up with these scoopers? I think what the fuck is up with these scoopers is Marvel's strategies that they developed recently are working. I did not think I was going to be able to stretch all this little bit of news into 3 hours. Good God, I yap incessantly, don't I? Holy shit. But yeah, that's what I think. The biggest plot they missed was how Spidey was in the middle and switches to Cap's team halfway through, and we see Tony become a villain. I mean, from a certain perspective, at the end of the movie, he kind of does become a villain. If you want to look at it that way. I personally don't. I mean, hell, you could almost look at him as being a villain just because he was opposing Cap. Now, obviously, not everyone sees it that way. There's plenty of people out there that are Team Tony. I'm Team Cap. But there's plenty of other people out there from Team Tony. But, you know, if you're Team Cap, you could look at Tony as a villain in that movie. Like, you really could. You know, how he treated Wanda and stuff like that. You know, you could see that as villainous, as Obi-Wan says, from a certain point of view. That's what I think, anyway. Yeah, I mean, I'm done subject-wise. Like, scoopers are less accurate, I think, completely due to Marvel. And not because they change shit all the time. Oh yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no, he gets up to some dark shit in the comics for sure. That is 100% true. Correct me if I'm wrong. You seem to be quite familiar, Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson. Um, I can't believe it took me that long to do that after you being in here for a while. Anywho, setting that aside. Um, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he set fire to a fucking warehouse in order to lure Cap's team in? And a big old fight happened, and like there was some collateral damage to people and shit. I think I might be mixing that up with another battle, but didn't he do that shit? He was actually a very good villain with Reed at his side. Yeah. Okay, cool. I remember that. Right. Yeah. So yeah, no. When Tony wants to get dark, either in the comics or in the MCU, which he's delved into darkness a couple times across his MCU career. Yeah, he can break Cap's jaw. That's right. Yeah, comics or live action, Stark can do some dark shit. One could almost say in the MCU he done some Victor Von Doom kind of shit. Gotta bounce. All right, man. Gotta get up at 5:30. Holy shit! Yeah, go to bed, bro. Thanks for being here. It's always good seeing you, my guy. But yeah, go get some fucking sleep. Jeez, Pete. I know you're 3 hours behind me, so it's only 10:15 where you're at, but still, go to bed. You knew Cap will be drawn in like a moth to the flame, classic goblin technique. Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Moan Streamlabs. Show the channel. Like, you're on. This is my channel. Show me some love. God damn it. Fuck you, Streamlabs. Alright, Chad. I know I haven't said this formally. At least I don't think I finished it formally, but after that Scooper talk, I'm out of subject, so we're on your time. Mr. Anderson is taking full advantage of that, which is I appreciate. So I'm going to hang out for, at the most 15 more minutes because, again, I'm in the Eastern time zone. It's fucking been Sunday for an hour and 16 minutes at this point. I got shit to do tomorrow. Punisher saving Spidey happens in that comic? Yes. Yes, it does. And then Cap smashes Frank like U.S. agent did to that brigand. Yeah, I haven't actually read the run, but I've listened to Rob's videos. I think I've listened to his Civil War a couple times. I need to go back and revisit that shit again. Get some more details straight in my dome. Yeah. What do you think, chat? And I'm willing to chit chat for a while, but if y'all don't have much more to say, I'm gonna get out of here. What do you got? Last thought. Recast of Tony would be a mistake. Just bring back RDJ. Josh says he might play Doom and Tony after Secret Wars, which could explain the effort going back to 828. Still lame. I mean, yeah, I don't know. If anyone can handle dual roles, it would be Mr. Downey. Because, I mean, let's face it, he's the best actor in the entire MCU. Period. Like, I don't. I'm sure people would disagree, but I don't know if they could come up with a better example. I mean, the only one that really even comes close to RDJ's level of talent is Cumberbiot. You got a wild theory in RDJ that you were talking about, but it's simple? All right, lay it on me, man. What do you got? Personally, I buy Josh's theory, but I'd love to know. Maybe the Doom who was almost cast as in the early 2000s. Okay, so when we see him, he will come from an alternate timeline with Ian Ruffalo. Ruffalo's pretty good. Ruffalo is pretty good. Like, overall, he's a pretty good actor. I still don't think he's on RDJ. So the Doom he was almost okay. So he's the Doom that God damn it, what's his fucking name? I hate my brain sometimes. Julian McMahon ended up playing R.I.P. When we see him, he comes from an alternate timeline. Do you think RDJ is a Doom variant, but he will end up being the Fox Doom? Interesting. That's interesting. I don't hate it. I will say that the information that is out there doesn't really match up with that theory, but I think it's cool. Although maybe the wife he loses. Remember RDJ shared photos with her before. Oh, that's right. I'm not going to 100% say no. It's actually kind of fun. The statue in the 2004 F4 was RDJ. I've seen people say that, and I've seen different images of it, and I've seen people say it's actually still is Julian McMahon. I don't know. Kind of looks like it could be either, if I remember right. Autofill. Yes. Where's my magnify, motherfucker? Oh, that's a new thing, and I don't even know what that is. Okay. I don't know what I just did there. More tools. That's the one I was looking for. Zoom in on this page. I don't know. Kind of doesn't really look like either of them to me. But although, like, kind of in my head, if I had to pick one, either RDJ or Julian, I would say that. Yeah, I'd have to say it looks a bit more like RDJ than it does Julian McMahon. Oh, okay. They could make it so he was pruned. And that is possible. Quit peeking, Archer's tough shit. Check this out. The model for the Victor Von Doom statue in Tenet was Julian McMahon. While some fans have speculated that the designer resembles Robert Downey Jr., who auditioned for the role, production records and prop-making practices confirm that the statue was sculpted to match McMahon's facial structure. This was necessary for the film's unique organic metal transformation makeup and CGI effects, which required life casts of the lead actor. There's no evidence that Downey's likeness was used as a prop. In the movie, Doom's body is superheated and cooled, turning him into a statue and later transported back to Liberia. The statue's design and proportions reflect the name's featured content. So, and if you want to accept that, that's it. Weren't our DJ. Big say he's in a prison in Doctor Strange. Dr. Lucky, I'll make contact early in the film. Oh yeah, I remember these. I was backstage. Where was this at? Yeah. I mean, there's a couple ways to make sense of it. Your way is one way. Another one would be, and this also would not be unusual for Marvel. It could very well be that Marvel, as we know, there's going to be a fuck ton of variants in Secret Wars. And it could very well be that Marvel is shooting Secret Wars stuff inside of their Doomsday reshoots. That's also a possibility. I knew where that picture was taken. Honestly, I'm starting to get tired and I kind of don't want to look at it. All right. Excuse me. Okay, so the most widely shared photo of Robert Downey Jr. and Jessica Alba was taken in New York City during a short visit to the Lincoln Center Theater in October 2024. Jessica Alba attended a play. Images posted by Alba on Instagram showed them backstage together with Downey in a casual print t-shirt and a new hairstyle, sparking fan speculation about a possible MCU reunion between Iron Man and Cisco. Okay. So that's that. Those photos are a year and a half old. And taken at a play. So yeah, even if Jessica Alba is going to be in an Avengers movie, it'll be Secret Wars. Okay. I love y'all. I love all your questions, Mr. Anderson. But it is fucking 1:30 in the morning here in the Eastern Time Zone, and chillin' is tired. So I am going to go on ahead and get the fluke out of Dodge. But I am very, very grateful to all of you for being here. Whether you were here for the whole stream, just part of the stream, even if you just click on for long enough for it to count as a view. Thank you very much. You guys are the best. And if you're newer here, please come back. We'll be back Wednesday. We're going to watch episode 6 of X-Men 97. And then talk about whatever news happens between now and Wednesday. Next Saturday, as we all know, is Hall H. Marvel will be at Hall H from 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, I would, under most circumstances, 100% say I will be going on early in time for that. I know Josh is. I don't give a fuck. I'm doing my own. But it also happens that next Saturday is my mother-in-law's birthday. So I will definitely be on for sure at some point Saturday night, possibly my normal 10 o'clock Eastern time slot. What I'm not 100% sure on is if I'll be able to go early. So you can be damn sure I'll be going as soon as, I can be free. Not that that's not a problem. But after the celebration of my mother-in-law's birthday is 100% done, I will be on. If it's done in time for me to be on in time for Hall H, I'll be on in time for Hall H. Hall H starts at 8:30. I will probably start at 8:15. I don't need to start that much before. But if not, I'll definitely be on at 10. And, we'll go over all the shit that I'll have to find out about. So, after those quick show notes, I really am going bye-bye now. And I really am grateful that you guys were here. It's Saturday night. Lots of other things y'all could be doing, but you popped in and hung out. And that's all. So thanks. And please, if you did not hit the like on your way in, please hit it on your way out. If you're newer and you have not yet subscribed, please do that and hit the button and join the Discord. Someone will throw the link in. And Discord's fun. It's not like insanely active, but it's the same people that are in the chat. Everyone here is good people, and the notifications are a lot more reliable than YouTube's. So do all the things, hit all the buttons, join all the stuff. And, we'll see you back here next week. We'll see you back at Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. It's 6 of X-Men 97 and Nerdy News. All right, y'all. Thanks for being here. Much love. See you Wednesday. Bye. Yes, indeedy, chat. Another girthy stream. Another great conversation about the nerdy stuff we all love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making this a dope stream, if you considered it so. Because I can't do that shit on my own. I need you guys for that to happen. So thank you for being here to help that happen. Hit all the buttons, pretty please. And also, I keep forgetting that, share these fucking streams out, man. Tell your friends, show your friends, be like, hey, check this shit out. This dude's actually kind of cool. But all that usual YouTube begging being done, have a great rest of your weekend. Have a good beginning to your week. And come on back Wednesday night at 9. All right? Y'all are the best. I love you. And I'll see you when. Bye bye.